We do on campus. Like something that we're doing right now is we call it the residence hall roundups, which is we go around all the residence halls and we actually knock on the doors and we ask the freshmen, hey, can we take your recycling out for you? Usually they're pretty shocked. They're like, yeah, sure. And they go to dump it, but we tell them to slowly dump it so we can pick out the stuff that's not recycling, tell them why it's not recycling, or if they're doing pretty good, you know, tell them, you know, good job. You know, we compost behind the screen, behind the scenes on all the dining halls, but Scrape Your Plate Day is one of the days that we go out there and we stand in front of the clay, the tray collections. We have the students scrape their plates into these bins so they see how much food waste generates throughout the day. And then hopefully, you know, they'll be like, wow, like, you know, if I take and eat whatever I take, you know, I won't be contributing to that. We do lug your mug. It's a thing where we offer out free coffee to people who have their coffee mugs with them on campus. But yeah, so another big thing I do, as I said, the football compost stores. So that is actually where we start around halftime. We start getting all the compost bags or recycling bags from the entire football game. And we start ripping them open, getting in there. It sounds a little gross, but it's actually not that bad. We got music playing. We just take out all the contaminants, put trash in the trash one, put compost in the right one, and recycling in the correct one. And then we just empty them. So then when A1 Organics that comes and picks up our, I think it's someone else now, right?
It's still A1.
Oh, it is? Okay. But A1 Organics is the industrial composting that picks up our composting throughout all of campus. So we want to make sure that the stuff that we give them is correct.
Now, part of our food waste we get from a food truck that does organic smoothies. So that's already been through that process. And now part of it is from a company that presses, like beets, and then throws the pulp away, which is incredible. So we said, please give us that waste. Now they're willing to pay us to take it, but it's so good that I don't charge them for it. The other food that we get is food that comes from the distributors before it goes to like Whole Foods or Sprouts. It's coming in transit and something will go wrong. An air conditioner will go bad or something like that, and it goes bad in transit. Happens a lot with strawberries and bananas. Listen, guys, if there's one thing I could give you guys, there's no such thing as waste. This is a made-up human concept. Everything is a food source for something else. Everything is valuable. Everything has a purpose. There is no such thing as waste. If you're broke and your trash can is full, you need to reevaluate your life. You're just wasteful. Now, if you're broke and you ain't got a trash can, you're broke. Now listen to this. Okay, look at this crazy guy. This is oranges, and look at what these bacteria did. Literally dissolved this to nothing. This is over about a week's time. So even though it still looks like an orange, this is not an orange anymore. This is a completely different thing. It is completely stable. The nitrogen is stable. I mean, really, it's worth nothing. I spent a few bucks in inoculant. I wait 7 days, and that barrel is worth $1,268 in retail. Okay, $1,268. Wow. All right. Right? Oh, it gets better. Wait till I feed it to the worms.
So if conditions are right, they will find your compost pile. So a lot of people, they have backyard composting and they say, oh, I have worms, and they just found it. So they will do that. These worms are captive, which is challenging actually, because once you have them fully contained, then you are obviously responsible for their well-being. There's a window of temperature that they're most active, and it's the same kind of temperatures that you're most comfortable in. You know, they really like 70s.
But it's a giant bell, and it's all stainless steel, and then the tea bag goes around it, and you can put about, what is it, 30 liters?
30 quarts, yeah.
30 quarts of compost. But essentially what it does is it shoots air down to the bottom of the bag, and it jostles it up to such a degree that the air bubbles come up into this dome, and then that's how you extract the actual fungi and bacteria and literally anything that would be in the compost.
Yeah.
So the first phase, that's the difference between extract and the brew, is you extract the microorganisms, and then when we're actually brewing, so that's for 24 hours, that's when you feed, everything gets jostled up, taken off of the organic matter of the compost, and then you feed it and it starts multiplying and stuff like that.
So yeah, when we spray the farm, these are just some cycles of when you want to apply tea. You can honestly apply as much as you want. It's really harmless. The research, there hasn't been any research that really says that too much compost tea is harmful, but at the same time, like, you just don't want to use too much of anything.
Comes worse, we have I like to call it a redneck jacuzzi, in case the compost tea business
It
doesn't
sounds
work
like
out.
a jacuzzi. Some of my neighbors are like, what's that noisy vacuum sound? It's like a jacuzzi. We have one.
But this is kombucha for your plants. And in the process, you're re-inoculating that soil with that foundational bacteria that activate. There's genetic expression that requires sunlight, or requires temperature, or requires water, and you see it with the plants. You see it with the plants. So the plants begin to thrive. Now we see yield increases anywhere from 50% higher. And I know people think I'm crazy. I know you don't say these numbers. Blackberries, blueberries, we get 10 times the yield. 10 times the yield. It's ridiculous. Some plants respond better than others.
And this is a month ago, and you can see we started water irrigating and how quick they were praying. And then they went into the next week.
Wow.
And now we are here, week number 4. And in week number 4, when people said we could not do this, look what.
They're in flower.
Those are coffee
It's like
rolls.
fish food.
So
No way.
those are coffee rolls. So when I get this from Whole Foods, so Whole Foods roasts all the coffee for Allegro Coffee here in Thornton, and they throw away 30 cubic yards of this material every single week. And I want to get into Whole Foods to sell veggies. So the way I get into Whole Foods is I go and find their trash, and I leave, what can I do with that trash? And then if I could do something with that trash, then all of a sudden I can go back to them and be like, hey, I can close your circle of recycling if you buy my product. And they say yes, and it's an easy end. I just gave you guys $1 million business if you want to be a farmer. In here there is copper, there's manganese, there's zinc, there's iron, there's silver, there is magnesium. This is so rich that if the people in the Central American countries knew they were letting this resource leave their ground, they would not allow it. It is so rich that it's a shame. You know why they're having these fungal infections all over Central America that are killing the trees?
The bananas.
Because of the worldwide coffee trade. Bananas is a different one, and we got that solution too. So I went to Whole Foods, and what we did is we modified this, and we modified some beetle-killed pine, another local source of that people don't know what to do with. And we modified a little bit, and we invented a new way of growing mushrooms. And we get 5 times the yield in 2 weeks less time. And here's the killer. We're doing oyster mushrooms. They normally have a 9-day shelf life. We get a 25-day shelf life. And this we're throwing in the trash. We are throwing this in the trash, guys. We're throwing in the trash. So if you want to go into the green revolution, not that one, but this one, be creative, reimagine what is considered waste. Because when we realize that we are all the soil, and when you see the imbalances in the soil, then you see how those imbalances manifest on everything that's above the soil.